don't build your audience and build your writing business on a viral post or a viral month. It's that
Exactly.
long-term consistency. Although we feel good, don't we? If we have a month where numbers are up, it's a happy month.
Yeah.
But it's not the silver bullet. It doesn't like fix all your problems. It's definitely the long term doing the key things right. That's the main thing, isn't it?
We're live now. Welcome, everyone. I'm here talking to Derek Hughes about Substack growth, and I'm so excited about this conversation. Welcome, Derek. Welcome. How are you today?
Hi, Anna. Good to chat to you again. Yeah. No, I'm doing really well. We've got a bit of sunshine in Manchester, which we don't get very often here in the UK, so that makes everybody happy.
Okay, that's great. So it's a great day on your side right now. Maybe
Yeah,
it's a sign. It's our lucky day today.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have the sunshine on my side of Europe. So I'm in Eastern Europe. I'm in Sofia, Bulgaria, and right now it's really 27 degrees Celsius. So it's really a hot summer day, but yeah, that's usual on our side. All right. Today we are together to talk about Substack growth, which I think is a particularly curious topic for many of the people from our audiences, both of our audiences actually, especially lately when Substack feels a little bit slow for a lot of people. And yeah, hopefully we can share some tips and tricks which might help you guys address that. I myself can share that yes, I have faced a little bit of slowdown lately from notes and if, new subscribers growth, but actually my conversion rates are stayed increased because my paid subscriber growth continue to grow. And then with notes and when you engage a little bit more actively, I figure that actually you can also restore free subscribers growth. But that's how I did it on my side, and I hope Derek will also share some tips and tricks here. Right, Derek?
Yeah. I mean, I last month I had my best month ever on Substack. I mean, I've only been around 12 months, and probably May June time it was slowing down a little bit, and then last month, and we can chat about why. Maybe last month just seemed to be probably about double, triple my growth.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get those months, don't you? Do you know what I mean? And we can like talk about them, but it's always like much more important to keep going over the next 12 months rather than today be a good month. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you don't build your audience and build your writing business on a viral post or a viral month. It's that
Exactly.
long-term consistency. Although we feel good, don't we? If we have a month where numbers are up, it's a happy month.
Yeah.
It's not the silver bullet. It doesn't like fix all your problems. It's definitely the long term doing the key things right. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I would definitely say so. So yeah, I implemented a system on my side during March, which helped me increase my free subscriber growth from about 200, 300 to about roughly 900, and that is because I had few notes went viral. And I expected this to peak and then maybe fall down back to 300. So I was very curious to test that and see if it stays long term, and it definitely stayed even in the slow grow months on Substack. So it's stabilized of something around 400 to 500 subscribers per month, which is really great. So it's almost double from compared to from what before I have done, and it's all about basically my tools, my um, custom GPT, the notes writer GPT, and generally staying more active on the platform.
Yeah,
It's
because like people can see that you've had a viral month, or they can see that you did really well, but then it might be partly because we're putting out a lot more notes than other people. Sometimes if
yeah,
someone's putting one note a week, one note a day out, or even not as much as that, it's going to take them 10 times longer to put as many notes out perhaps as me and you do. And the more notes you put out, it's more it's not quite this, but it's almost like the more lottery tickets you buy, the more chances you've got, and the more the odds increase in your favor, you know. And so sometimes the fastest way to grow is just to publish more, because you just speed up the rate of learning and the speed of growth, etc. But you need systems and tools to do that. If you just try and put out lots of notes off the top of your head, then you're gonna like burn out after about
Yeah.
1.5 years, aren't you? You know. So yeah, you definitely need systems and tools around that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I start with notes, and I use AI to draft them, and I usually edit them. But because of AI, and I train it to write about my audience, about the problems that I solve in my newsletter. It's really highly personalized, and it drafts me very well written notes, which I can just simply edit and post. And it takes me really 15 minutes per day, not much longer than that. And then I look at performance, and then I take one of the notes which performed well, and then I turn it into a post. And that's something that you could already name a system, but it saves me tons of time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I started doing about 3, 4 months ago or something is I pay someone on Upwork, and they just gather all my best performing notes and they put them into a spreadsheet for me. You know, so all the ones that I've got. So for me, the benchmark is 40 plus likes is an okay note, you know. So they just gather them all for me every 3 months. And one of the things I do is I just go through that list and I repost them all 3 months later, you know, kind of every now and again, you know. So the way I create more notes every day is probably at least one note a day is from 3 or 4 months ago that performed really well. And probably 75% of the time they'll do really well again, you know. So you're not even doing any work then. And the work that you did writing it 3 months ago, you're just getting the benefit again. Because as wonderful as people think I am, nobody remembers my notes from 3 months ago. You know, they're not studying
Very
them, and
true. Yes.
they haven't got them on the wall where they're like, wow, Derek's notes are amazing. You know, they forget it 3 seconds later, you know. So that's one shortcut I've done. And then obviously with AI, I can analyze that to see, well, why have these done well? Why have others not? And, you know, I will tell me what that tells me about my audience. But just literally reposting um, is like one of the simplest ways to just give you free posts that take no effort, but actually they're the posts that are almost guaranteed to do quite well, you know? So that's one thing I'm starting to benefit from, you know, because that's just starting to
Yeah.
through. People can do that themselves, but I'm too lazy, so I pay someone to do it for me. You know?
No, I think laziness is a good thing. I think it's the driver of progress actually and innovation, because people invent new and easier ways to do some things because of that. So that's the good side of laziness. I really love that. But yeah, that's a great tactic actually to repost best performing notes from before. I also started recently do that, and it's not, most of them did not perform as well as before. But I think it's also because my audience grew, and there are already different people who are active in the first like 24, 36 hours after posting, which are, I think, very important, and very, very so what happens within this time frame, it's important, and it depends on how the whole performance of the node depends on these hours. Because if you have a lot of engagement, that's what I discovered through analysis with AI actually. If you have a lot of engagement from your, and usually it's from your audience, because initially Substack distributes to your own audience. So if it performs well in those 24 to 36 hours, then Substack starts distributing it to external, so people outside of your audience. So I feel like maybe my audience changed, so that's why those notes didn't perform that well. But
Yeah,
who knows? I think it's a good tactic. I have seen other people like you and also other creators do that, and they usually have the one and the same note perform really well when they repost it like few months later. But yeah, we already have questions. So guys, we are talking here with Derek Hughes about Substack growth. So if you have any questions about growth and monetization and notes and posts and paywalls and all of that stuff related to Substack, now would be the good time to just simply share them in the chat.
We're happy to answer questions.
Yeah. So we have a so Laura is asking, is notes a good place to write to test for a longer post? I think yes. I think yes. That's actually exactly what I'm doing. And I take the best performing notes and turn them into posts very, very often, and those posts are also performing really well. Well, what do you say, Derek? What's your experience?
Yeah. I mean, definitely. I mean, one of the things that I do when I collect all my best performing posts is I use them to speak to ChatGPT about them. And I'll say, what does this tell me about my audience? What does it tell me about the things they're really interested in? What are their pain points and problems and desires and dreams and all that sort of stuff? And so sometimes I'll do that because your note's a data point, aren't they? That's like information for you. So you can just take a post that did really well and expand it, but then you can also look at all your best ones and work with AI. I mean, you can just look at it yourself. You can use common sense. But if you're lazy like me and you'll use AI, won't you?
Exactly.
And it will tell you, and you think, actually, the things that your audience is really bothered about, they're real pain points, they're real issues. And then you can think, right, well, whenever I'm writing a post, is it about? So I've got a list of the top 10 things my audience is bothered about from those notes. And so whenever I'm writing a post, I'm thinking most of the time it needs to be about one of those things because that's what my audience has told me about. So yeah, you can either do it just directly on that post or you can gather them all together and think, actually, what does it tell me that people are interested in? What are the problems they're facing? And or even if you have an idea, like sometimes I have an idea, or maybe people are bothered about this, maybe this is what they're interested in. And rather than write 1,000 words on it in a post, you can just whack it out straight away with a note. You know, often whenever I've got an idea and I'm thinking, I wonder if they're bothered about this or that, then you just fling it out as a note and see what lands. And then you haven't took very much work to do that. And then, and that's like an ongoing process. And the longer you go, the more information you gather about your audience and the more accurate your posts will get. And then if we get down the line to paid offers, you get more confidence that what you're charging for is exactly what people have told you want. So yeah, I think that whoever asked that question, I think that's really a key strategy for people to adopt. Okay, it's telling me that Jana's internet connection is unstable.
Yeah, sorry. So my phone went hot again. So sorry for the um interruption. Just one sec. Yeah, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're back.
Yeah. So yeah, it's still hot on my side. So so sorry for that. Um, okay. So you were saying about notes and turning a note into a post, right?
Yeah. I think that's a great strategy to use as data point to learn about your audience and then use
I think
that.
so too. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to add that actually this is a very good strategy, especially if you use notes to connect topic wise, to connect them to the topics of your newsletter and the problems that you solve in your newsletter, and also ideally the products that you sell, especially if it is a free newsletter or your paid tier if it is a paid newsletter. So notes would be a great place to start to see which ideas and topics resonate best with your audience, so that you can turn them then later into a post, and why not into a product actually as well. So
Yeah, absolutely. And And if you like to be lazy and do shortcuts, you can obviously do it the other way, can't you? So if you've written a post and one of your posts got a lot of attention, then you'll have loads of notes within that post. You'll have single sentences that are really powerful. If your post was 5 ways to do X, then you've got 5 notes, haven't you, for each of the different sections?
Yeah.
And you can recycle it the other way as well, So it's all the time just how you deliver energy or what people commented on in your posts as well. If people are commenting on particular ideas, and you're like, obviously that resonates, then I'll turn that into a note and just continue like that flywheel of learning and repurposing and reusing and seeing what you're kind of picking up.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Nancy was asking also, because I lost the history of the chat, but Nancy was asking how many notes per day is optimal to post. And from my experience, so I still post 3 to 10 notes per day. I try to stay roughly in this range, but I think the more important question would be what type of notes to post, because it's every creator has different audience, and then the notes that you post are different, especially those that would resonate with people and go viral and bring you new subscribers. So even if they don't go viral, it's important to post notes that are driving engagement, because that's what actually brings you also subscribers. But if we talk numbers, it's roughly, so I try to stay within this range, and it's working really well for me. What about you, Derek? How many notes you post per day?
I have no idea, but it's quite a lot. Probably similar to you. I think in terms of what you should post, the way I would do it is, if you think over the next 30 days, what realistically could you do every day? So for some people, if the most you could do is one, it's more important to do one every day for 30 days than try and do 10 today and then you burn out. If you're like, actually, I could probably do 3 a day or 5 a day or 10 a day, whatever the amount you think is sustainable, it's more important to be able to do that for the next 30 days, 90 days, 100. It's whatever's kind of right for you. But generally, the more you do is better. More is better than less. If you do 5 rather than 1, you're probably going to grow faster, other things being equal. But if you don't have capacity or energy to do 5, then go for 3, go for 1, go what is manageable for you over the longer term, because most writers burn out. Most writers start to hate what they're doing. They don't feel they can keep doing it. And once you lose energy and motivation, actually, then it becomes almost impossible to post notes. So it's more important to think, how do I write so that in 12 months' time, I'm still here and still going, kind of how I think about it, really. That if I'm still here on Substack in 12 months' time, then I'll be doing pretty well. I don't know how well, but I will be doing pretty well. And everyone who's watching, if in 12 months' time you're still posting notes, then you will be doing really well, whether it's 1, 5, or 10. So I think that adopting that mindset rather than copying someone's exact numbers is what I would always teach people to do.
I would 100% agree here, absolutely, because Substack is a long game. So anything that you do or create as a system or build as a habit should be sustainable, something that you could maintain for a longer period of time, because that's how you build a good business out of it, actually. Other than that, you could burn yourself out for, I don't know, 1 month, 3 months, and then really grow. But then if you cannot maintain that or turn it into a system that works for you, and especially if one that fits your daily schedule, then it's a waste of time, basically. And energy, a lot of energy, as I would say.
Yeah, and you always want to be looking out for like cheat codes, you know what I mean? And so you want to be looking out for styles of notes or ways that people are doing it. Maybe creators outside of your niche or ones who seem to get a lot of engagement. And as soon as you see something, don't do it once, but think, I'm going to try that a lot. So I saw recently somebody, they quoted something they were reading and they said, oh, this quote really impacted me. And they said how it impacted them. And I read a lot on Kindle, and I was like, actually, that note format I could do all the time because I'm always reading, and there's always quotes, etc. And so I just got my Kindle highlights, and I looked through them all, and I just banged out loads of notes that was like the same format that I can then just scatter through.
Yeah.
And so I think having a look at, if someone's posting photos or if somebody doing this style or that style, doing images, sometimes people write on a post-it note something, take a photo, once you see a method, don't just do it once, think, actually, I'm going to do that every week for the next 12 weeks. And then you've just got 12 notes or 30 notes with no effort suddenly created,
Exactly.
and that's the thing to do, isn't it? To make it more possible. And when you do that, actually, then you find, you can do 10 notes a day, no problem, because you got all these ideas piling in.
Yeah, definitely. I also found another way how to come up with different ideas for notes, because I also always start with the problems and goals and aspirations and frustrations of my audience. So I have a huge file where I collect these and feed them into ChatGPT because I'm lazy, like you, like you, and and once I do that, then I go to ChatGPT and ask it how to give me 10 different angles, which I can use to write about on notes on these problems that I give it to them, and then it gives me 10 different angles where actually you could post one and the same idea or solution of a problem in 10 different ways, and you already have 10 different notes. It's
Right.
a really good approach that I have figured of using.
If you do your best notes as well, then actually the chances of those 10 variations going viral have kind of gone up a bit. Do you know what I mean? And as soon as there's a different angle or a different approach, then it doesn't even look the same to anybody, when they're glancing through. So you could do that, many times over the week, and people won't kind of notice it, So, yeah, look, we're giving loads of value here, by the way.
Yes,
Already think, but you should be taking notes, because the truth is that most people will do nothing about what we're saying, in my experience, you know what I mean?
Sure.
But like, if you just take one of these ideas and like, I'm going to do that tomorrow, then you've just probably found a note a day for the next 30 days that will do well for you, So it's about taking action. That's like the most important thing for people.
Yes. Actually, that's one of my favorite questions that people ask me. It's how to grow, or how to give them advice where to start with monetization, and how to grow subscribers or free subscribers or paid subscribers, and all of that. And usually, my best answer is just do the work. So stop thinking and strategizing and planning and start actually doing stuff. That's how you grow. Because even if you're doing the wrong thing, you will figure it out very fast, and very fast also you move on to the more closer to the right thing, and that will bring you one step further in your growth path.
Yeah. Because even if what you're doing isn't working, then you've learned what doesn't work. And as soon as you know what doesn't work, then you've closed one angle down. You're getting closer to what to do. And you test it in the market, not in your mind, don't you? You test it in real life. You don't test it by thinking and watching more lives and reading more books and articles and just kind of get out. And that's where that you just find it. Have this bias towards action and failing in public. It's not practicing in public, is it? It's failing in public.
Yeah. Also, I like that. It's a very good strategy. Okay, so Laura is asking how many times a day it is worthwhile to post. I think she's asking for notes. My experience that would be so initially, before I started scheduling them, I posted all of the notes at once. It's just like 10 notes, one after the other. That's I thought that it doesn't really matter, but then I run I reach 100. Well, actually 1,600 nodes, so 1,600 nodes, and I exported them and fed them to ChatGPT, and also explicitly asked it to analyze posting times, and then it came up with recommendations that I should actually post in US active working hours, and also the weekdays. So it says something also about the weekdays. I will have to check. I think some of the weeks were more active than the others, and for sure not the weekends and stuff like that. So I figured timing also matters. And then you probably know Finthropy. He's a great guy. We know each other from Medium. So we discussed with him that, and he built a new functionality in his note scheduling Chrome extension, where it takes basically your data and gives you a heat map of the time of the day and also the weekdays, and you can very clearly see what are the best days to post. And then you can take actually those time slots and automatically schedule notes in his Chrome extension. That's a new feature that he built. Actually, we created a mutual collaboration product with MyGPT and his Chrome extension, and it's really a great product. So it's optimized for you, like personalized for you. But ideally, I would say multiple times per day. I mean, if you don't have a scheduling or automated tool or any kind of analysis, then that would be in the morning and probably in the evening, maybe 2 times per day. That's from my experience.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to do it in between tasks whenever I've got so I don't plan to go and do it, but because I've got loads and loads in my Evernote, if it's kind of a lunch break or if I've just done a big session, just before my tea, I'll just whack one up, and so I tend to just do that, and they'll just spread through the day through that. But yeah, just get them out really.
Yeah. Yeah, so people are asking about which app is it, so I'm sending a link just in case. So I wrote about this new functionality the Fin created. It's really great. Okay. You know what I wanted also, I thought about maybe a good thing to share. I recently figured it out because I'm also testing paid advertisement to drive traffic from paid ads like Facebook ads and Google ads to Substack. Not very successfully, to be honest, not very successfully, because Substack doesn't give us the best experience for landing pages, unfortunately. But what I learned from that experience is actually there are three things that matter most from your subscriber journey. And I think most of us are actually overlooking this just simply because we don't know that. Because we are always talking about people who are, or talking to people who are already on Substack, and we don't check our subscriber journey for people who are coming outside of Substack, which is something that I figured because I tested my journey for people coming from paid advertisement. So when you create an ad, for example, when you click that link, you go to Substack and it treats you as if you are brand new to the platform. And that's how I figured. So the first page that those people would see is your welcome page. It's not regardless of the link that you put or share. Like, for example, this is also valid not only for paid ads, but for example, if you share links to social media or you share links to other blog posts, or if you write, for example, on Medium, and when people click those links and they come to Substack, if they're very new to Substack, the first thing that they're going to see is not the link that you share, if it is a post, for example, but your welcome page, because Substack is trying to get their emails. And your welcome page, so most people are using their welcome pages as simply just basically very, very close to what Substack default is. And I'm talking about description, not only, but also images. And then I thought, okay, so if I treat this welcome page as a landing page, like, for example, a freebie landing or lead magnet landing page, then maybe I could change something. So I decided to tweak my description a little bit, so that I tell people that there is some kind of a special offer behind that page, like a discount for my annual plans, for example. I also tell them that I have a free 10-day course for free subscribers. So anyone who joins my publication, they will get a free 10-day crash course on Substack about how to grow your first 1,000 subscribers. That's an email sequence in 10 days that I have built, and it's really, people actually love it. So I added those two things, and I also changed the images. Initially, I was using my logo, but then I thought, okay, maybe most landing pages are actually not using logos. They are putting something which looks and feels like a product already. So I changed the image and added something like, so I instead of my logo, I added my face so that people can actually see who they are subscribing to. And I added some bullet points. But you could also create a visualization of like, for example, something like a product, a package, a book. If you have if you're giving free books in your publication, so you could use a visual for them as well. And this really changed things. So I think I started to grow a little bit faster because of that, and that's the first thing. And there are two. So if people don't give their email and continue without subscribing, then the next page that they will see is again not the link that you shared, but your about page. Automatically, Substack is bringing them to your about page, and it's really important to master your about page, to make it look and feel and the content would be informative enough, but also tangible and valuable to people who don't actually know you. And then the third thing that they will see is your homepage of your publication. So the design of your homepage is also really, really important. The sort of actually from the very first look, they should be able to understand what the Substack is all about, so that you gain free subscribers. And those three things are really important to increase your free subscribers growth. And I think we are hugely overlooking them, especially the welcome page.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like the look of your homepage is like really important, and to think about it. I mean, the way I think about it is not aiming at the people who already follow me, but people who don't, and if they land on that, so
Yeah.
when people got stuff like, I think some of the defaults is like a list of the publications that you're recommending or something like that, you know what I mean? Or a link to your chat or something like that. And it's like, if people have landed there, they need to know what you're going to offer them, and you need to inspire them.
Yeah.
And I think that thinking it in a more marketing sense is like really important. And
Yeah.
I think because Substack is complicated, isn't it, compared to other platforms when you first land to it. So I'm not surprised that people just leave it at the default, because they're struggling with notes and posts and chat and lives, and it's all very complicated, But I think once you've sorted your homepage, you only have to do it once. That's the thing, So you give yourself a couple of days to look at other people's, think about if somebody lands on my homepage,
Yeah.
what will make them subscribe and get interested. And it takes a bit of work, but once you've done it, then it's done, and then you can focus on notes and posts, And so yeah, that's kind of one of the priorities. I often to people and show them the different things they need to change, and it's like it is a bit of work. But once you've done it, you've done it, and you don't need to do it again, and you can focus on notes and posts and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that's the first thing that you should do also, besides setting up your entire publication, before you start putting any effort on growth, like on notes or engagement with other people or even growing. So you have to set up your Substack first, so that people, when they enter this subscriber journey, they have the best experience, and they also know what your Substack is all about, and you are basically leading them. You make sure that by doing this, you're leading them to this action, to hitting that subscribe button. Actually,
Yeah, that's right. And like and you just need to look at other people's publications who are doing well to see what they're doing, So you'll see everyone who's doing well will pin their best post at the top, rather than just leaving them in order. Because if you do that, the one with the least engagement is your latest one, So if somebody clicked on it and they're like, "Oh, nobody's reading your stuff," and it's like, no, put your best one at the top, because then
yes,
people will think, "Wow, you're really popular," and it's like, well. Not really. It's just this is the first post everybody
yes,
sees, so it gets more than anything else, But
yes.
people judge quickly, So that there's a little few hacks like that, isn't there, that you can do to really improve your homepage and maximize the chances of people subscribing. And once they subscribe, and they get more of your stuff, and then they'll buy your stuff, and once you got that, you're away then, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely, yes. So I have pinned on my homepage my start here post, like the welcome post. And I don't do this actually, the pinning my best performing post, because I want to have my start here, because I have a lot of, so I'm guiding people throughout my publication, because it can get confusing, because Substack doesn't give us, the very best experience when navigating the platform. So it's important for me to have that pinned there. But as a workaround, I am using a side column with my best posts instead of my latest posts, just because of that reason, because my latest are, currently don't have enough engagement because they're just posted, but my best posts are the ones with the biggest engagement and likes and restacks and comments. So it's really a very good practice that you could use for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. So Derek, I wanted also to ask you, so you shared with me that you have figured a way how to make Substack growth with any type of niche and topics, because most of the people on Substack tend to think that because we are writing about writing, it's easy for us, but it's not so easy if you're writing about, like, for example, productivity or health or I don't know, leadership or any other topic on Substack. Can you share a little bit more about this?
Yeah. So as you know, I've got like a cohort I'm running on Monday, to teach people Substack growth map. And but I was like showing people what I've used to grow over the last 12 months. But I was like, well, before I do that, I should really test that it works and doesn't just work for me. So I've got a
Yeah.
kind of secret publication that I run. It's still my name, but it's under a different thing, which is more about some of the my personal values and some of my beliefs and some other stuff about meaning and purpose. So I have a bit of a faith. And so that stuff is not really about going viral, so about making money or anything like that. But it's still this idea of meeting a need and solving problems for people. And so, yeah, I launched that a few months ago and got about 800 subscribers in about 10 weeks, probably on that,
Yeah.
And because I believe that the things that we're talking, we apply them to writing because that's our audience.
Yeah.
But people have other problems. People do have problems around productivity and parenting and mental health and confidence and anxiety and jobs and relationships, struggling with retirement, the list could go on. People have all those problems. And if you can convince them that you can help solve that problem, ideally because you've solved it yourself, then people will read your stuff. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? People will follow that, So yeah, that was that's a bit of a fun side project. It's just something that's important to me. It's not about making money, but that did, I'm just using the same things I use on my writing publication, the same stuff around how you do notes, how you do posts, how you use some of the other strategies for growth around Substack that are there for anyone to use.
Yeah.
And it's definitely possible that you can grow. You might not get 800 in 10 weeks. I think that was a bit of I don't know whether it was a fluke or luck or whatever, but if you do it over 12 months and just follow a simple system that's proven to work, you'll get people reading your stuff. You'll get people who want to buy from you because you're solving problems that they've got. So, yeah, I definitely think so. Yeah, I do get the same criticism that you get around, well, it's only working because this is what you do. So I occasionally send them a link to my secret publication and say, well, what about that? Yeah, it's not that
Yeah.
secret. It's called a little nudge, but you won't find it on my profile because I've got another Derek Hughes profile. Because when you post notes, that's as a person. So I didn't want to clutter up my notes feed with different topics because you need to be focused on you. So yeah, so there's another Derek Hughes on Substack that is me still.
Yeah.
That's got a different publication, but I'm only on that an hour or two a week, because I've got a busy life. But even then, I still get a tick over of subscribers every week from that.
Yeah. That's also something that I also wanted to ask you. I think it's one of the best practices, especially if you want to run more than just one publication, is to create a second profile, just because of notes, because they are tied to your profile and not to your publication, unfortunately. So you cannot split the topics, and if those two publications are very far away from one another in terms of audience and positioning, then it would be better to create a new profile. I also have a second publication, but it's very, very far away from my original first publication. So it's It's very slow there. It's very slow, but it's my side project.
Yeah, because I mean, people still disagree with me on this, but I think that really you can't just write about what you want to write about and expect to grow. You need a niche, you need a focus, you need people will only follow you if they know what you're getting off you. You know, if you write about property one week and mental health the next week and your poetry the next week, you know, you won't get the same person interested in all that. So they will just not follow you. They'll just log off because you're kind of cluttering up their inbox. So you need a focus if you want to build an audience and attract people, because you want them not just to read one, but a whole series. And you don't have to do that if you don't want to grow. If you just want to express yourself and write about whatever's in your mind, that's absolutely fine. But if you want the community of people who are following you, then they need to know what they're getting from you, and you need to solve some problems. Without that, you just won't grow. And people argue with me about it because they want to write and they want to express themselves. And I'm like, you can absolutely express yourself, but don't expect to grow. You know, people won't give you their time and attention for nothing. You know, they want to get help because nobody wants more junk in their inbox, do they? You know what I mean? They want
exactly.
So that's why I've got a separate profile publication, and they don't cross, because otherwise I would just lose both audiences who don't want to read about the other thing, really.
Yeah. It's a very good decision, I would say. I also have similar conversation with people who are arguing with me about positioning and niching down, actually, and being very specific. Especially people who are asking for my advice, and when I say, "Look, this is not specific enough," and then we start arguing. You know, that's my best conversation, my favorite conversation. But actually, you cannot spread yourself like everywhere. You have to. If you try to talk to everyone, then you're just talking for fun. You're not building a business out of it. If you want to make money, you have to be really specific. Especially when we talk about newsletters. It's not the case for platforms like Medium, for example. So if you want to if you want to write about anything, then just simply go to Medium and test your voice and topics there. It's a great place.
I mean, once you get really big and famous, so where some of this comes from is from like really big and famous people who actually become their own brand, and they can write about anything. Do you know what I mean? So like, if Tom Cruise started a Substack, he would get lots of followers, no matter what he wrote about. But not because of his niche, because of his brand, you know. So your Tim Dennings and your Nicholas Coles and your people like that, you know, who get so famous, you know, Dan Core, Alex Hormozy, whoever, they could write anything and people would pay interest because they're interested in them. And that's why when people get big, they tend to branch out in other things, you know. So there was an art gallery near me, and it's got lots of celebrities who paint paintings and stuff, you know, like Bob Dylan and people and lots of other famous celebrities. And to be honest, they're not very good, the paintings, but because it's got the celebrity's name on it,
exactly,
people would buy it, you know. So when you get really big, you do become your niche and you can do anything. But if you're really big, you're probably not watching this, you know what I mean? So if you're small like us, you've got to start helping people, solving problems. That's like the only way to grow.
Yeah. But actually, it's very good that you point this out, because it's really a great example. All of those people actually started with a very specific niche, and that's how they grew.
Yes. You've got to start like that, you know.
Yeah. So once you become popular and really famous and big, then you can really, write about pretty much anything that you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Any more questions? So, guys, we are talking with Derek Hughes about Substack growth, and we have already shared a lot of interesting and particularly working tips that we are actually using. But if you have missed that so far, make sure that you check the recording. I am going to share this a little bit later today. But also, if you have any questions, now would be a good time to post them in the chat so that we can answer in the few minutes that are left from this live. And meanwhile, I would maybe, let's say this again. I would also say that Derek has a new cohort starting next week on Substack Growth. It's called Substack Help Me Growth Map, I think.
Yes. So we're running 6 live sessions where each week we're just going to look at a particular element you need to get right in order to grow. Substack. And so it's kind of live. It's on Zoom, small group of us. Well, it was supposed to be small, but more and more people are signing up. So I might close it soon, but I've got spaces left at the moment, and it's starting on Monday. And just going to teach you a particular thing each week, and then during the week you can go and apply it. And hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a system, and you'll know what to do to follow that to grow. And it's worked on my own publication, then it's worked on this secret one that shouldn't really work, because it's about Substack, and it's about how to get an audience and get people to read your stuff, really. So I would love to have one or two more people on board for that if people want to.
Yeah, that would be great. And also make sure that you subscribe to Derek, so he's sharing a lot of great stuff in his publication as well. Right. So I think we don't have any more questions. So that would be, I think, all for today. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek, for joining. And looking forward. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the questions.
Yeah. Bye. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.